Guys, 5 minutes back. I got this all cleaned up. Again, this is a Savage Model 64. I've never owned a Savage rifle before. Stevens, Savage are kind of the same anyway. I've had a few Stevens and some shotguns and other rifles too. So, get everything back together. Well, I got everything ready to go together. Lightly oiled, because that's really, you don't need a lot. The feed ramp, which I found this kind of interesting, is on the end of the magazine well. So this feeds it into your chamber. I've heard people say that you need to polish that, and I don't know. A friend of mine has one of these too, and he had a few feed problems in the beginning, but you know, once he got worked through the magazine, it worked fine. So I'm not going to worry about it because this is probably all broke in for me already. So I've got my firing pin back in my bolt. My bolt right side up. Look at your bolt. Your firing pin and this slot goes to the top. And these other grooves down here go to the bottom. These go over your magazine and feed your rounds. So that goes towards the bottom. And I never took it. I didn't take the hammer and stuff off it because I didn't need to. It's pretty clean. And that's, you know, pretty extensive disassembly. Maybe I'll do that another day, but not needed today. I'm going to stick my bolt handle back in. And once we get back here, now your firing pin has a notch in it too. And maybe I should show you that. Firing pin's got a little notch right there. And when you set that into your bolt, see if we can see this. You can see how your firing pin, if it's not lined up, I hope you can see that. It's hard to do this. Okay, so if it's not lined up, you really probably can't see it, but the bolt handle won't go through. When it's lined up, your bolt handle will go right through it. No problem. Alright? So hopefully you get that one. Again, up, up, lay it right down, stick our bolt handle in, a little finagling, and it'll get past there. I'm going to run my bolt back here. When you run it back to here and push in on your bolt handle, it'll lock. Just like that. Alright. Now, I'm going to put my magazine well back on. You need to remember which way it goes. It should be pretty obvious, but guess what? When you say there's a stupid rule, that stupid rule is there for a reason. So this goes towards the back. The little tab here goes towards the back, towards your trigger. And it goes on top of everything else. So the front fits down inside. Excuse me, it goes that way. So it just sits, but your feed ramp will fit down inside. Line up your holes. Now remember too, which one had the screw and which one had the stud. Or the, yeah, we'll call it a stud. So it was the back one had the stud in it. So let's run that, get that started first. And we'll just kind of sneak that Phillips one in there. Give her a Phillips screwdriver. I was going to buy 2 of these at the price they were. They had 4 of them. And I was going to buy 2. And I decided against it just because I didn't have quite enough saved to buy 2 of them. But it would have been kind of cool to have 2 just to trick one out maybe. There are some accessories that you can get, but maybe turn one into a target rifle and leave one into a hunter. So I'm going to make sure these screws are pretty tight because I don't want anything coming loose. The barrel, has a flat here and has the ejector here. So I want this flat, and you'll see there's a notch here, and the notch is where this piece fits in. I'm hoping you can see all of this. I'm trying some different stuff with my camera. But then this fits kind of in here, and it holds the front of your magazine down right up against the feed ramp. So you kind of got a slider in there, and it might take that extractor goes into your bolt too. So your bolt actually runs along that extractor. The long side goes towards the front to hold the barrel in. And I know you can't see this. I'll turn it. So I just kind of do the best I can in getting it in there. There we go. Doesn't take much. A little wiggling, a little finagling. She'll pop right down. Put our stud back in there. Grab our ratchet. You don't need a ratchet either. You can just use a wrench. Don't use pliers. Grab a proper size wrench. It's a 7/16 or probably 11 millimeter will work just fine. And don't reef on it, but it's going to have to be pretty snug. So there you go. There really isn't much to it. It's a really simple gun to work on. Simple, from what I understand, my friend's is very accurate. About as accurate as my 987 from Arrest. And even more accurate, held from the shoulder for some reason. I don't understand why. So, where did I set my stock? It's here. Stick this back down. We'll shuffle a little bit there. Hex key. I was used to get really irritated when people called this an Allen wrench. It's not an Allen wrench, it's a hex key. Allen is the company that made the wrench that came up with the idea. It is not an Allen brand. Matter of fact, this is some cheap thing. I don't even know what it is. Alright. So there we go. We're ready to hit the range, so to speak. Our Savage Model 64 is back together, ready to rock. Bolt forward, safety on, safety off. Can't pull the trigger with the safety on. Dry fire, don't dry fire 22s any more than you absolutely have to. After I clean them, I like to give them one dry fire and that's it. So, we're clean. Hang up some of my tools here because my bench is a horrendous mess. I'm not letting you see everything that's that way because it's the worst. I got my sharpener set up on my K-bar, putting a new edge on it, kind of touching it up a bit anyway. And that's where I'm going to leave this. We'll do a little scope installation one of these days here real soon. I want to kind of try it out without a scope, and then I'll try it with the scope. So, I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll get with you next time. Stay safe, God bless, and have a great evening.